That's why I'm really proud to stand behind today's sponsor, FTX. They're one of the largest US regulated cryptocurrency exchanges in the world.
You do want to buy during this crypto winter, make sure you do it with FTX US. FTX US has among the cheapest fees out there you're going to find for most crypto exchanges. And basically you get free crypto with every single trade over $10. They're a partner of the channel. They have been for a while now.
This video is brought to you by FTX. Go to metkevin.com/FTX to learn more and sign up to get free crypto every time you trade. Check it out. Link down below at metkevin.com/FTX.
I'm not doing any more FTX US videos, obviously. But here's the thing. You know what? I might do. I don't know. I might not. I mean, it's money. I have to decide if I want to do more. But know that if I'm doing more, it's just a cash grab.
So a lot of influencers actually promoted FTX, as we saw. A lot of top tier financial guys. And recently FTX collapsed, declared bankruptcy, and lots of money is magically missing. And a lot of people are going after the influencers for influencing people to buy on FTX, which anyone who has money on there now, it's gone. You're not going to get the money back. And Spencer Cornelia put out a video where he's basically just kind of defending any YouTuber who took on this sponsorship. And there's a lot of holes in it, and we're going to go over that. But basically, it's Spencer versus Coffeezilla, which you would think is they would be on the same side. They both kind of expose scammers, but this time they're battling each other. Because it seems that Spencer's more trying to defend his friends and business partners instead of actually, hold people accountable for their own actions. We can see in this right here, in the creator agency, if we go down, you have Grams in here, Andrei, Meet Kevin, all these guys. And then there's Spencer Cornelia is also actually in this. So being in this agency basically means that anyone that you see here, he actually can't talk negatively about, because then he'll probably be kicked out of the agency, because obviously they don't want people who are in it to be talking negatively about people that they represent. So, you can't really do that. His best move that he should have done is actually stay kind of silent about this, not make a video, but he came out, made the video defending everyone, and it's not really greatly received.
First argument I'm presenting is that FTX had global sponsors with audiences exponentially larger than anyone sponsored on YouTube. From my perspective, if you're looking to place blame and you're a logical and reasonable adult and use a weighted scale, then finance YouTubers should receive such an insignificant amount that it's not even statistically important.
So isn't that a lucky coincidence? The people that he's defending in financial space they're the ones who are the least important. Don't even pay attention to them. Why would you? But it is hugely important because people like Stephan, Andrei Jikh, Meet Kevin, the top tier YouTubers in the financial space, people who push this FTX sponsorship, people watch their channels for financial insight and maybe even financial advice. A lot of these guys come off as knowing so much about finance that you should just blindly listen to them. And a lot of people end up doing that. A lot of people do whatever they say. The only YouTuber on this list and in this controversy that I really kind of like is Stephan. But even you got to hold him accountable that he had the promotion. He did it.
Tom Brady and Gisele Bundchen were featured in this FTX ad as sponsors. Stephen Curry was also an official FTX sponsor as seen in this ad. This FTX ad featuring Larry David has been seen 46 million times.
So this is kind of the entire theme of his video, basically saying, look, everybody else did it, so it was okay then. Everyone did it, so it doesn't really matter. Why are you mad at us? Which doesn't make much sense and makes you really appear like a child, because that's a kid's argument to something, saying, look, well, little Timmy did it, so obviously it's okay for me too, right? But regardless of who you want to point your finger at, it doesn't matter. They're all responsible. They all should and will take a reputational hit because of taking this sponsorship. Even the YouTube group is going to take a reputational hit, just like Tom Brady, Steph Curry, all the athletes that took it, just like TSM who had it, just like the FTX Arena in Miami, they're going to take a hit. The MLB, all these people are all going to suffer similar consequences. Their reputation is going to be tarnished because they took this money.
Investors who put $2 billion into FTX face scrutiny too. Venture capital firms and investment funds showered the failed crypto exchange and its founder with money. Forbes estimates Sequoia Capital invested $200 million. Paradigm, a fund focused on crypto and Web3 tech, invested an estimated $215 million. You have some of the smartest investors in the world investing $200 million into FTX, and somehow finance YouTubers should have known it was a scam.
So again, you can see the theme of the entire video of just look at everybody else, but don't look at me. So it's coming off just like that. But in this example, saying, look at all these other big name funds, and you think YouTubers should take the responsibility for their actions? Yes, they should. Oh, the funds should take responsibility too. Nobody should just be let off the hook. However, these funds are capital allocators. It's a little understandable why they might take a little bit of a risk, put out 1% into a fund like this. It's still not good because it was a Ponzi and they should have seen that, and they are suffering now. They lost all the money. But people in YouTube and YouTubers already make millions and millions of dollars a year just off making YouTube videos. These top of the line guys are making massive amounts of money from AdSense that they don't need to take on these promotions. They don't need to promote this stuff. And when FTX happens, when this Ponzi collapses and everyone looked at them and says everyone who listened to them lost their money, but everyone who promoted it made money, that looks extremely greedy and it looks terrible for you. Because at the end of the day, for your YouTube channel, it's your decision whether or not to take the sponsorship or the promotion. If the money is worth it to you and you would rather get that short-term money and sacrifice your long-term audience or people who support you on YouTube, then your channel's doomed to fail. These people make enough money off of YouTube that they don't have to leverage up. They don't have to take on these promotions and take everything they can get and try and make an extra 50 grand per promotion or something. They can simply just make videos and make money off the AdSense. But saying all these people should have just known better, not been blown away by this, it's kind of like saying the YouTuber shouldn't have to do the work because someone else should have done it, which just isn't true. Do your own work. Do your own research. Do your own due diligence. Don't just blindly follow anyone. No one should ever do that. But it does kind of show that everyone involved in this deal was super greedy. And they were greedy enough to not want to see the problems. It's not that there weren't problems there. Is that the greed blinded them from being able to actually see them. Like there was a clip that went around where SBF literally said he's in the Ponzi business.
I think of myself as like a fairly cynical person, and that was so much more cynical than how I would have described farming. Like, you're just like, well, I'm in the Ponzi business and it's pretty good.
At no point did any of this require any sort of like economic case. It's just like other people put money in the box, and so I'm going to too, and then it's more valuable, so I'm going to put more money in. And at no point in the cycle did it seem to like describe any sort of like economic purpose.
And this clip's been out for a while now. If you saw that clip and see that the guy that you're taking a bunch of money from is basically promoting Ponzi schemes, he's in the Ponzi business, maybe you pull out of that sponsorship and say, you know what, the 100 grand a month isn't worth it because this thing is going to collapse, and people who are on the top of finance don't even need that 100 grand a month from FTX to begin with. They don't need that money. They make a ton of money. So the greed really came out, and there were signs that you could have seen to say maybe this guy doesn't actually know what he's doing. Maybe he's actually is running a Ponzi scheme, but that's not the signs that these people wanted to see. The signs they wanted to see and were staring at were the dollar signs.
The result of what happened in Sam's behavior is not what influencers were promoting. If you use a weighted scale, the percent of blame should be as follows: 100% on Sam Bankman-Fried and 0% on others.
So if you think it's one person's fault and none of the people who promoted FTX and accepted their money have any fault whatsoever in this whole situation, here's a question for you. Will the people who made millions of dollars promoting FTX give the money back? They weren't supporting that and they didn't want to promote it. Will they give back the millions of dollars that they made promoting it? Because if not, then obviously it's not, you have this weird case trying to say, well, look, the exchange club, it's all Sam's fault. Don't look at the millions I made promoting it, pushing people into the Ponzi scheme. I'm going to keep that money, but look at Sam. You can't do that. If you promote something and it ends up being a scam and a Ponzi, then you are on the hook for it. That's how the promotions work, especially for huge, large YouTubers and influencers who do not need that money. People who are taking this and taking the 50, 100 grand, multi-six-figure a month deals who don't need that money, you are at fault. If the whole thing falls apart and you took the sponsorship, you have to hold responsibility for that, because not only did you promote it, you didn't even need the money and you still did it. So come on. But Coffeezilla did end up posting on this, putting a comment on this video, kind of breaking down his own arguments and saying that he wanted to do a public debate if he was down. But the first point he makes is saying you can't compare financial influencers to Tom Brady being sponsored by FTX. Financial influencers are claiming expertise Tom Brady is not, which is obvious. Nobody goes and watches Tom Brady or Steph Curry or TSM hoping to see what crypto exchange they're using and where they're putting their money. They're watching them simply for entertainment. So comparing the two, a little disingenuous. And his second point, saying you imply that I'm blaming influencers for the collapse. I'm not. I'm saying they lose credibility and are rightfully ridiculed for bringing millions of dollars of their fans' money into this disaster. It's the same reason Jim Cramer is ridiculed for not seeing the Bear Stearns collapse in '08. No one's saying he caused the collapse, but his lack of judgment cost people money, which might be the thing that's not really connecting for Spencer here, where no one is pointing at the influencer saying, you caused this. They're pointing at them saying, you hold responsibility for the promotions you ran. You pushed people into this, you received money, and the people who listened to you lost money. And his third point is several of these financial influencers claimed to do due diligence on the company and failed to see the very basic problems of a company that was very close to Alameda Research, a trading arm. This was well known at the time, not secret information. And this just adds up to the point even more, where the signs and warning signs of problematic behavior and problems being there was there. People just didn't want to see it because they were too busy looking at the dollar signs. And Coffeezilla ends off his comment in probably the best way possible, makes the most sense for what's going on, saying all in all, it's pretty simple. When you promote something and it turns out to be fraud, you are going to take a reputational hit for it. It's just the price of a sponsorship. Influencers can't have their cake and eat it too. They can't get paid millions to stand behind products, but when those products fail suddenly, face zero accountability, which I mean is the most obvious thing. If you back something and it fails, you're responsible for backing it. You got to take that hit and you're responsible for promoting it, backing it, giving it a platform. You didn't have to take the deal. No one's forcing you to do that stuff. And on top of it, especially for the guys at the top, when they're making so much money off YouTube, you can turn down 6 figures a month in sponsorship deals and it won't affect you at all. So the greed really shows, the problems really show. So I don't know how you make a video kind of saying no influencer should be held responsible for what they promote when, come on, you know, they don't have to promote this. They're not being forced to. And there were people who got those offers who didn't even promote it because they knew something was a little wrong, a little fishy. So it does look very greedy from the big guys taking these sponsorships and pushing the product. That's gonna do it for this video, guys. What do you think? Should the YouTubers be held for what they promote, held responsible and take this reputational hit? Or should they be let off scot-free and nothing should ever be criticized about what they promote?